Good morning, boys and girls. Today we are on page 31 of your student journal, page 31. And our objective today says, today I will subtract by using the place value strategy and relate it to a written method. Okay, so let's look at that again. So it says today I will subtract by using the place value strategy. So in our last lesson, we did the draw a picture strategy where we were using base 10 blocks. Now we're going to use a place value strategy where we will be using still a place value chart, but we're going to be using numbers instead of pictures. And then it says, and relate it to a written method. We're going to continue to relate it to that working form written method, okay, that we did in our last lesson. All right, let's look at our vocabulary to start with. Our first vocabulary word says difference, and they're reminding us that it's the solution to a subtraction problem or the answer to a subtraction problem. And then they're reminding us of our our vocabulary. A minuend is what we start with. So it's what you have. Your subtrahend is what you're subtracting, and your difference is your solution or your answer. So here's a really good example of the place value strategy. So instead of drawing our minuend, they wrote it in expanded form. So if you look just at the bottom part or the top part, you have 200 plus 50 plus 3. So they wrote it in expanded form. And then they also wrote the subtrahend in expanded form, 121. So 121. And then they did, starting with the ones column, because we always start with the ones, they said, if I had 3 and I took away 1 or subtracted 1, I'd have 2 left. 50 take away 20 or subtract 20 is 30. 200 subtract 100 is 100. So now I have my solution or my difference in expanded form, which is 130 and 2, and then they put it in standard form. And then they showed us an example of how they added it, and then down here they show us an example of what it would look like in written method or working form. Okay, so let's look at our steps. It says first we're going to decompose the minuend into ones, tens, and hundreds on a place value chart. So last time what we did is we drew it. Now we're going to decompose it. And now we're also going to decompose the subtrahend. We're also going to decompose the subtrahend. So we can just say decompose the minuend, decompose the subtrahend, and then we're going to start subtracting. Now remember, when we subtract, it's always the ones first. Okay? Then we have write the difference in standard form, and then write the problem in working form. Okay, so boys and girls, I'm going to get started on my first problem. Here is my first problem, and it says 569 subtract 432. Okay, so I like to always have my place values, remember? So I have ones, tens, hundreds, ones, tens, hundreds. And if that was written too small, I could have rewritten it larger to give me a little bit more room to write ones, tens, hundreds, ones, tens, and hundreds. Okay, so step 1 says to decompose the minuend. So of my minuend, I have a 5 in the hundreds place. So that's 500. I have a 6 in the tens place, that's 60. And I have a 9 in the ones place, which is 9. Okay, my next step says decompose the subtrahend. So I have a 4 in the hundreds place, which is 400. I have 3 tens, which is 30, and I have 2 ones, which is 2. Okay, my next step says subtract the ones, tens, and hundreds, always starting in the ones column. Well, 9 take away 2. I can use different strategies. If I don't know that, I could count up, but 9 take away 2 is 7. If I had 60 and I took away 30, I would have 30. And 500 take away 400 is 100. So my solution or my difference is in expanded form, 100 plus 30 plus 7. But if I want to put it in standard form, the easiest way sometimes is to read it, 137. So my difference is 137. That is my answer or my solution or my difference. Okay, if I was to do this in working form, remember I always put my minuend on top and I carefully line up my subtrahend, making sure my place values are nicely lined up. So my ones column, my tens, and my hundreds. And I still start in the ones column. So 9, take away 2 or subtract 2, left me with 7. 6 tens, take away 3 tens, means I have 3 tens left. 5 hundreds, take away 4 hundreds, means I have 100 left. So my difference is 137. Okay, let's look at our next one. I have 783 subtract 371. So I might write it larger so I have some room to put my place values on top. Ones, tens, hundreds, ones, tens, hundreds. Okay, my first step says to write expanded form for my minuend. So I have 7 hundreds equals 700. 8 tens is 80, and 3 ones is 3. Okay, then I'm going to expanded form for my subtrahend. So 3 hundreds is 300. 7 tens is 70, and 1 10 is 1. Okay, now I'm ready to subtract, always starting in the ones column. So 3 take away 1 is 2. 80 take away 70 is 10. And 700 take away 300 is 400. So here is my solution or my difference in expanded form. 400 plus 10 plus 2. Now 10 plus 2 is 12. So I have my standard form would be 412. So my solution or my standard form or my difference is 412. Okay, working form, what does this look like? Let's put our minuend on top, our subtrahend carefully lined up under, keeping my place values really close and organized. So I had 3 ones, take away 1 1, left me with 2 ones. I had 8 tens, take away 7 tens, leaves me with 1 10. And 7 hundreds, take away 3 hundreds, leaves me with 4 hundreds. So my difference is 412. Okay, let's try some of these together. We are on page 32, and here's our first problem. We have 879 subtract 356. Okay, so I would first, for me, I'm going to write it a little larger. You don't have to do this step, but what you do have to do is put your place values either on top of here or on top of here. But you must have your place values, ones, tens, hundreds, written on each, the minuend and the subtrahend. Okay, so step 1 says we're going to decompose our minuend. So I have 8 hundreds equals 800. I have 7 tens, which is 70, and 9 ones, which is 9. Okay, our subtrahend has 3 hundreds, 5 tens, which is 50, and 6 ones, which is 6. Okay, when we subtract, we start with our ones. So we have 9 take away 6 is 3. 70 take away 50 is 20. And 800 take away 300 is 500. So here is our difference in expanded form. 500 plus 20 plus 3. But in standard form, it's just going to be 523. Sorry, my 5's a little messy there. So my difference is 523. That's our solution or our difference or our answer. Okay, let's do this in working form though. Let's write our minuend, 879. Subtract our subtrahend, and make sure your columns are nicely lined up. Your ones, tens, and hundreds. Okay, so 9 ones, subtract 6 ones, leaves me with 3 ones. 7 tens, subtract 5 tens, leaves me with 2 tens. And 8 hundreds, subtract 3 hundreds, leaves me with 5 hundreds. So my difference is 523. Okay, let's look at one more together. Okay, I'm going to rewrite my equation because it helps me have room to put ones, tens, hundreds, ones, tens, hundreds. Okay, so let's decompose our minuend. We have 7 hundreds. We have 9 tens, that's 90, and we have 9 ones. Okay, let's decompose our subtrahend. We have 4 hundreds. We have 3 tens, which is 30, and 1 1, which is 1. Okay, now we're going to subtract, always starting in the ones column. So 9 subtract 1 is 8. 90 subtract 30 is 60. And 700 subtract 400 is 300. So here is our difference in expanded form. In standard form, it's just going to be 368. So it's just going to be 368. So I can put that up here as our solution or our answer. Okay, so let's write this in working form. So my minuend was 799. My subtrahend is 431. And I'm going to make sure my columns are nicely lined up, which they are. So if I had 9 ones and I subtracted 1 1, I had 8 ones left. If I had 9 tens and subtracted 3 tens, I'd have 6 tens left. If I had 7 hundreds, subtract 4 hundreds, I have 3 hundreds left. So my difference is still 368, doing a different method. Okay, boys and girls, you're going to be practicing these with your teacher and by yourself. Have a great day. Bye-bye.